You think the worst thing that can happen in an Uber is a rude driver, or maybe getting scammed with a long detour, or being overcharged because the GPS took you the scenic route. But I learned something one night. There are things out there much worse than a bad rating, things that will stay with you forever. See, I used to drive Uber out in Nevada, mostly around Reno, but sometimes I'd take fares near the long desert highways. You know the kind. Miles of nothing but empty blacktop stretching into forever. And one road in particular, Route 50. If you don't know it, they call it the loneliest road in America. And trust me, it earns the name. It was just after 1 a.m. when I got a request. Pickup location, a little roadside diner off Route 50. When I pulled up, the parking lot was empty. No cars, no trucks, just a single figure standing under the flickering neon sign. A man. He was wearing a suit, black tie, polished shoes, neat and clean like he'd just come from a wedding or maybe a funeral. His skin looked pale under the buzzing light, his hair slicked back perfectly. He leaned down, opened my back door, and said in this calm, polite voice, "Thank you for coming. It's a long trip tonight." I glanced at my phone, checking the app. The destination pin wasn't in the city. It wasn't even near a town. It was dropped in the middle of the desert. No landmarks, no addresses, just a blank patch of nothing. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the cancel button. But before I could say a word, he was already inside the car. And the moment he shut the door, I felt it. The air in the car grew colder, heavy, even though outside it was still over 90 degrees. At first, he was quiet, just sitting too straight, hands folded in his lap. His posture was stiff, unnatural, like a mannequin. Then, a few minutes in, he asked me in this soft voice, "Have you ever driven someone who never wanted to be dropped off?" I forced a chuckle. "No, not really. Everyone wants to get where they're going." That's when he smiled, a slow, unsettling curl of his lips. "Not everyone." The GPS showed one single road ahead, 50 miles of straight black asphalt into empty desert. My headlights cut through the dark, and all I could see on either side was endless sand and scrub brush. I kept glancing in the mirror. Every time I looked, his posture was the same, too straight, too still. But something didn't sit right. Then it hit me. The rear-view mirror didn't catch his eyes. His face reflected, his suit reflected, but where his eyes should have been, there was nothing. Just blank. My throat grew dry. I told myself maybe it was the angle, maybe the light, but I knew. Deep down, I knew something was wrong. 15 minutes passed. I glanced at the app again, and that's when I noticed something else. The arrival timer. It still said 47 minutes. It had said that 15 minutes ago. The number never changed. No matter how far I drove, I wasn't getting closer. I cleared my throat, trying to hide the shake in my voice. "Hey, I think the app's glitching. Where exactly are we heading?" He leaned forward slightly. I could see his face clearer in the mirror now. His skin wasn't just pale.
It was almost waxy, and his eyes completely black. No whites, no pupils, just endless pits. "You're already there," he whispered. Suddenly, the car jolted like I'd hit something on the road, but there was nothing. The dashboard lights flickered, the radio snapped on by itself, spewing static so loud it rattled the speakers. And in that static, I heard my own voice, repeating over and over, "Keep driving, keep driving, keep driving." I slammed the radio off. My hands were trembling. When I looked back, he was gone. The back seat was empty, but the door was still locked. No sound, no movement, just gone.
I pulled the car onto the shoulder, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. That's when I noticed the phone. The Uber app was still running, but the passenger's name had changed. It wasn't his name anymore. It was mine. And beneath it, in blood-red letters, "Drop-off pending." The air turned freezing cold. My phone battery drained right before my eyes, from 80% to 0 in seconds. The screen went black. And then, from the back seat right by my ear, I heard his whisper, "You'll drive forever. You'll never go home." I spun around. The seat was empty, but the smell, this thick, rotten smell like burnt rubber and decaying flesh, filled the car. Before I could even react, the engine roared to life on its own. The gear shifted without me touching it. The car lurched forward, dragging me back onto that endless stretch of highway. I don't know how long I drove. Hours? Days? The desert never changed. The timer never moved from 47 minutes. My phone would flicker on just for seconds, and every time it would show that cursed screen. "My name is the passenger. Drop-off pending." And then I'd hear him, sometimes in the back seat, sometimes whispering from the vents, sometimes even from the speakers, even with the radio off. "Keep driving. Keep driving." At one point, I swear, I saw other headlights ahead, a car coming toward me. I thought maybe, finally, I'd see another human being. But as it passed, I looked into the other driver's car. It was me. Same car, same face, staring back at me as we passed in opposite directions. And behind him, behind me, that same pale passenger, smiling.
I don't remember getting home. I don't remember pulling into my driveway. But when I woke up the next morning, the Uber driver app was gone. Completely uninstalled. And no matter how many times I tried, I could never download it again. But it wasn't over. Sometimes, when I'm on the highway late at night, my GPS will flicker, and I'll see it again. That cursed timer. Arrival in 47 minutes. And I know, one night soon, I won't make it back. So, if you ever find yourself on Route 50 in the dead of night, and you see a man in a suit standing alone on the roadside, don't stop. Don't look at him. And whatever you do, don't let him in. Because once the ride starts, it never ends.
People always say the scariest rides happen after midnight. And they're right. Back when I drove Uber in Los Angeles, I had a rule: never take a request after 2:30 a.m. But money talks, and one night I broke my rule. To this day, I regret it. It was 2:58 a.m. when I got the ping. Pickup location, a gas station on the edge of town. Destination, about 25 minutes away, near the hills. I hesitated. My gut told me to go home. But I clicked accept. Easy money, I thought. Just one more ride. When I pulled into the gas station, the place was deserted. The overhead lights buzzed faintly, illuminating the empty pumps. Then I saw her. A woman stood by the payphone booth. Who even uses those anymore? She was wearing a long black coat, her dark hair hanging over her face. She didn't wave me down. She didn't move, just stood there, completely still. I rolled down the window. Uber for Anna? She turned her head slowly, then walked toward the car. Without a word, she slid into the back seat. Her movements were stiff, almost unnatural, like every step took effort. Where to? I asked, even though the app already showed the address. Her voice was low, flat. Take me home. I started driving. The streets were dead quiet. No cars, no people, just the sound of my tires on asphalt. I tried making small talk, but she didn't answer, not once. After 10 minutes, I noticed something strange. The app's GPS kept changing. One moment the route said 20 minutes left, then 15, then 25 again, like it couldn't decide how far we had to go. I glanced at her in the mirror. She was staring out the window. But her reflection wasn't. Her reflection was staring directly at me. My throat went dry. I gripped the wheel tighter. The silence grew heavier. Finally, I said, "So, where's home?" Without turning her head, she whispered, "Where I died." I nearly swerved off the road. "What?" I asked, my voice cracking. This time she looked right at me in the mirror. Her eyes were empty, dark, and that same wide, unnatural smile spread across her pale face. "Don't worry, we're almost there." Panic surged through me. I checked the road ahead, dark, twisting, leading straight into the hills. No houses, no lights, just blackness. I think we should stop," I stammered. "Maybe I should let you out here." But she cut me off. "No." Her voice dropped an octave, almost like two voices speaking at once. "You're coming with me." My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd pass out. I slammed the brakes, the car screeching to a stop on the empty road. I twisted around. The back seat was empty. No woman, no coat, no smile. The door hadn't opened. The seatbelt was still fastened, but she was gone. Shaking, I turned back to the wheel, desperate to get away. That's when I saw it. On the passenger seat beside me, something wet, a pool of water, and resting in it, a long strand of black hair. I floored the gas and didn't stop until I was back in the city, surrounded by streetlights and noise. Later that night, I looked up the address the app had given me. It didn't exist. But I did find something else. An article from 2 years earlier. A woman had been killed on that exact road, found late at night near a gas station. Her name was Anna.
I haven't driven Uber since that night, and whenever I pass that gas station, I can't help but look at the payphone booth, because sometimes, late at night, I swear I see her standing there, still waiting, still looking for a ride home.
If you've ever taken an Uber late at night, you know that uneasy feeling. The silence, the low hum of the car, that awkward tension between two strangers trapped together for 20 minutes. Most times, it's nothing, just a ride. But sometimes it's not. And once you hear what happened to me, you'll never sit comfortably in the back seat of an Uber again.
I used to drive nights in Chicago. I was a college student, broke, and those extra hours after midnight paid well. Usually I'd pick up drunk people heading home, tired nurses finishing shifts, or do airport runs. Nothing unusual. But one night, something happened that I still can't explain. Something that shook me so badly, I deleted the Uber driver app for good. It was 1:47 a.m. when the request came in. Pickup, an apartment complex on the south side. Destination, about 20 minutes across town. Nothing weird. I pulled up, headlights sweeping across the front of the building. And that's when she came out. A girl, looked maybe 23, 24, long blonde hair, a red hoodie. She carried nothing but her phone. She smiled politely and slid into the back seat, behind me. "Hi," she said softly. I said hello back. She told me she was heading home after a late study group. Everything about her seemed normal. But from the moment she got in, I couldn't shake this strange heaviness in the air. You know that sense when someone sits too close behind you and you can feel their presence? That's what it was. The app showed her address near a quiet suburban neighborhood. We started driving. For the first few minutes, she was quiet. I tried some small talk, asked what she studied, if she was from the area, but she barely answered. Her voice was faint, almost like she was forcing words out. Still, nothing too odd. Some riders just don't like to chat. But then, I started noticing things. Every time I glanced in the rearview mirror, her reflection didn't seem right. Her face didn't quite line up with where she was sitting. Once, I swear, I saw her mouth moving silently, whispering something. But when I asked if she said anything, she just shook her head. The second strange thing was her scent. When she first got in, there was this faint smell of damp clothes, like she'd been outside in the rain, but it hadn't rained in days. And as we drove, that smell grew stronger. Musty, wet, almost metallic. I gripped the wheel tighter. "Everything okay back there?" I asked. She answered softly, "Almost whole." That was when I realized the app had glitched. The little blue line wasn't leading to a house. It was rerouting me toward the edge of the city, toward an abandoned stretch of road near the forest preserve. Your address still the same?" I asked carefully. She leaned forward slightly, her breath cold against my ear. "Yes," she whispered.
Just keep going. My chest tightened. Something about the way she said it. It wasn't just creepy. It was wrong. My gut screamed at me to stop the car. But I didn't. I kept driving, like I was under some kind of pressure I couldn't explain. We turned on to a narrow road lined with trees. The headlights barely cut through the darkness. And then she whispered something that made my blood run cold. "This is where it happened." I swallowed hard. What happened?" She didn't answer right away. Then, in a voice flat and lifeless, she said, "This is where he killed me." I slammed on the brakes. The car screeched to a halt in the middle of that dark road. My heart was hammering in my chest. I spun around. The back seat was empty. Empty! The door hadn't opened. The seat belt was still buckled. But she was gone. My breathing turned ragged. I jumped out of the car, shining my phone's flashlight around. Trees, darkness, silence. She wasn't anywhere. I even checked the trunk, thinking maybe I'd lost my mind. Nothing. I scrambled back into the driver's seat and pulled up the app history. The ride wasn't there. No record, no payment, nothing. Like she never existed. Shaking, I drove out of there as fast as I could. And when I finally pulled onto a main road, I made the mistake of looking at the rearview mirror one last time. And I swear to you, just for a split second, I saw her face again, sitting right there in the middle of the back seat, staring at me with eyes that were completely black. I quit driving Uber after that night. People tell me I must have been hallucinating from exhaustion, or maybe it was some crazy prank. But you don't understand. The smell, the voice, the way she said, "This is where he killed me." Sometimes, when I'm driving alone at night, I'll catch a glimpse of someone in the back seat in the mirror. And every single time, I'm too terrified to turn around. Because I know, once you've given a ride to the dead, they never really leave your car.